Good afternoon, Warrant.
Afternoon, Advocate.
Okay. Now, Warrant, you have previously testified before this honorable court, and I've also previously asked you questions, correct?
Yeah.
Now, the purpose of my engagement this time is not to regurgitate what we have previously discussed, but I'm going to recap on some of the points so that I'm laying the basis of going into Exhibit DD4 in brackets B. Now, your testimony before is that you received, and even yesterday, that you received this cell phone on the 20th of October 2021 from Sergeant Mohani. Is that correct? Sorry? So when did you receive the cell phone? In fact, let me not put words into your mouth. When did you receive the cell phone from Sergeant Mohani?
Kwakumhlaka 2021 02/08.
And with respect to, because I'm going to touch a lot on this X-ray. My learned colleague says XRY, I'll say X-ray. We are using the same thing. Because if I keep on saying XRY, I'll speak until Mandela is resurrected. So I'll simply say X-ray, right? So you are saying your training includes the following: X-ray logical forensic toolkit, X-ray physical forensic toolkit, X-ray smartphone, and examine. Examine is XAMN, correct?
Yeah, bro.
And in your evidence today, you referred to a physical and a logical examination. In brief, just describe those of us who are not familiar with what you were talking about.
Ngichaza lapho ukuthi uma ngabe usebenzisa X-ray njengoba ushilo kunendlela ezimbili zoku-extracta i-data ku-device. Uma ngabe u-extracta i-phone kuwukuthi ufuna into ebonakalayo efonini, uyenza ngo-logical. And then uma ngabe u-extracta i-phone kuwukuthi ufuna nalokhu mhlawumbe okudeletiwe, usebenzisa u-physical.
Okay. And are these processes, the physical and the logical extraction, done simultaneously, or is one done before, then the other follows?
Njengoba ngichaze ukuthi zimbili, uwe odecidayo ukuthi ufunani, wenza eyodwa.
Okay. Now, because you say you received the cell phone from Sergeant Mohani, there are certain chain of custody issues that are lingering in the back of my mind. Let's then address this issue of chain of custody. Do you understand chain of custody as it pertains to evidence, forensic and otherwise?
Yes, I do.
What is chain of custody according to your understanding?
The chain of custody ichaza ukuthi le device exhibit yayikade itholakele kuphi, ifike kanjani komunye kona komunye till ekugcineni, yileyo chain leyo akhuluma ngayo.
Now in this instance, sorry, Warrant.
And then okunye engachaza kuleyo process leyo ihamba nama statement achazayo uma ngabe uyireceive kufanele usho ukuthi uyithole ngaliphi ilanga ngasiphi isikhathi, and then wena wenzani ngayo, then till isuka kuwe.
Now in this instance, receiving the cell phone that contains 2 SIM cards and an SD card from Sergeant Mohani, can you describe your process of documenting the chain of evidence for those devices that you received from Sergeant Mohani?
Ngicabanga ukuthi nasekuqaleni ngachaza ukuthi i-cell phone ngayireceive ngomhla ka-8 kaFebruary 2021, ngayithatha ngayibeka ku-safe. Kwase kuthi ngomhla ka-20 October 2021 yila ngayikhipha khona ngayosebenza ngayo. Njengoba ngangichazile ukuthi isizathu salapho phakathi kwalama date lawo yingoba sinomsebenzi omningi. I-evidence or i-device uma ifika nayo siyayisithatha sireceive sibeke ku-safe, ilinde nayo isikhathi sayo ngoba zihamba ngeline neline. And then ngiyeke ngiqaphele ukuthi uma ngireceive a cell phone or a device, ngichecka ukuthi is properly sealed, it was just tampered with. Na noma ngiyikhipha esafini ngiyayichecka ukuthi isese right, then bese ngiyayisebenza, mangiqeda futhi ngiyayisila, then ngiyibuyisela esafini ilinde u-investigate officer azoyicollect. Yilokho mina engikwenzayo.
Okay. Sorry, Advocate Sibanda, I'm going to request exhibit DD4 in brackets B from the pages 1 that we read from, so that I can take this witness through my cross-examination. Yeah, this one. Now, Warrant, I'm going to speak your language and you speak it better than me. I've seen on some of these photographs, go to the second one, Mr. Sibanda, because I want to see if it says EXIF metadata. Yes, yeah, this one. You see on all of it, amongst the data that is there, it says EXIF, and then it will say the data, EXIF and the data. What is this EXIF? What does it mean? What does it refer to? Okay, from my understanding, it means the interchangeable image file format. That is the format in which a device saves images like photographs in it. Now, amongst others, it will contain certain properties. That is the camera that it took, the shutter, everything. I'm not interested in those technical aspects. All I'm interested in is the timestamp. Do you understand the timestamp?
Yes.
Yes.
What is it, sir?
Isikhathi isithombe esathathwa ngayo.
So, and what else is included in the timestamp?
Isikhathi.
Okay. And then I'm also interested in the place where that photograph was taken at the time it was taken. What will show that place according to your understanding of this EXIF metadata? The location, what will determine the location where the photograph was taken?
Ngicabanga ukuthi mina ngokwami ukwazi mangabe kunama coordinates avelayo lapha ila uzokhona ukubona khona.
And you are quite correct. I'm not going to fault you. It will be the coordinates of the GPS, if, like you explained under Advocate Sibanda, Advocate Munisi, that if the location is turned on, when you take a photo, it will show the location where that photo was taken at the time, correct?
Kunjani?
Now, before we go to the location, because I'm like I said, I'm gonna be interested in a few aspects to take you through. I'm interested in the cuff draw that we've seen in some of the photographs. I'm interested in the location. I'm interested in, and by the cuff draw, by the way, cuff draw / deleted, me and you will understand, but we'll make it easier for the court and the rest of us, right? And I'm interested in the GPS location. If there are GPS location, if there's not, I'll take you through why it's not there or why should it be there. Then you'll give your explanations. Now, before we go there, Warrant Officer, can you explain how this X-ray software determines the origins of the photos on a cell phone? Do you understand my question?
Can you repeat?
Can you repeat it?
Explain how the X-ray software determines the origins of a cell phone. I mean, of a photo in a cell phone.
Okay.
Let me make it easier for you.
Yeah, because you understand.
Yes.
Please do.
A photo is captured by the actual device, right? And it will be saved in the SD card, if there's an SD card, or in the memory of that phone, correct?
Kunjani?
Correct.
And the photo will then, if I know you, we are friends, I'll share that photo with you. So your origin, it will be Ramosepele.
Kunjalo ngicabanga ukuthi engaku-explaina lapho, if une photo efonini yakho,
Yes.
then uya ku-details, uma ngabe ithi DCIM camera,
Yes.
leyo photo leyo ithethwe ifoni yakho, i-camera, And then okunye uma ngabe unesithombe efonini yakho then uya lapha ku details then uzothola ikunika le number esithi JPEG number then but ngale egcineni ingaba no WA then iyasho ukuthi lesithombe siphuma ku WhatsApp then uma ngabe sibuya ku someone else uyokhona ukubona phansi ukuthi said received
Received.
and then esinye isithombe mhlawumbe mangabe usithole ku Facebook nakhona siyabhala lapho ukuthi sibuya ku Facebook. So ngokwami ukwazi i-X-ray ayishintshi lutho kokusefonini iyenza njengoba injalo.
So similarly, if I understand you correctly, if then that photo is saved onto an SD card because it's not the actual device of the phone, it's an addition, will that also show on the saved photo in the SD card the origin of that photo? If the phone, sorry, Pastor Jonas, let me clarify it easier for you. Now, I capture a photograph, right? It's saved in the SIM card or the memory of the device itself, right? Now, if I transfer the very same photograph into an SD card, will it show in the SD card the origin of that photo?
Noma ingeke isikhombise ukuthi sibuya kuphi kodwa ezokwenza izosho ukuthi le SD card ngesikhathi ireceiver le photo ibikade ingaphakathi kwale device.
Now, the reason why I'm asking this, and I don't want us to be too technical because this is for an understanding of all of us, and you are guiding us. Let's then go to the last three photos, Mr. Sibanda. I'll come back to this one. That Mr. Munisi canvassed, Advocate Munisi canvassed with you towards the end of his cross-examination. That is the photos depicting what he said was Mr. Sibia, who's accused number one in this court, and the subsequent photos 17, 18, 19. Now, if you look at this photo, because now we see the metadata is quite limited compared to the first photos, can you tell whether or not this particular photograph was shared between devices or amongst devices?
Angikwazi ukubona njengoba sinje.
But as an analyst, are there, when you do the downloading and analysis, are there what are termed artifacts or data points that can guide you to know whether or not a particular photograph was shared amongst or between devices?
Uma ngabe wenza analysis uyakhona ukubona lokho, especially isithombe ngabe sisesekhona efonini. Ngoba uma usibheka nakhona uma ubheka le file name la iyasho ukuthi shared.
Now, in your experience, can X-ray distinguish between photos that were shared via Bluetooth, MMS, and other methods?
Ngizengikazi ngikwenze lokho. Anginaso isiqiniseko salokho. Kodwa engingaqinisekisa ukuthi mangabe ngi-analyzer efonini then ngiyakhona ukubona lokho.
Now, especially pertaining to this last one with depicted firearms and bullet cartridges, I don't know what these are called. As an example, because Mr. Munisi put a proposition to you, that is there a possibility that this was a download from the internet or a meme? A meme will also be shared from an internet amongst several users that are enthusiasts with guns or whatever, for whatever reason. Does this XRY, how does it handle such like photos that have been shared many times, the so-called trending photos or photos that have been shared by many other users of several devices? How does it handle that, and how does it represent that in the EXIF metadata?
Ngikaze ngidile isimo esinjalo.
Okay, all right. Now, with respect to these three photos that are at the back, the one depicting a gentleman in a red t-shirt holding the door of a motor vehicle, seated in a chair with a colleague or friend, and the one with a firearm. We cannot tell the device that took this photo, because this is what is termed, so sorry Mr. Sibanda, if you can go back to the EXIF metadata for a while. These are called what are called cuffed raw, right? Now I'm going to want a warrant officer to get into this cuffed raw so that we understand what it is. I personally know what that is, but for the benefit of the court and everybody else. This cuffed raw, what it is, in simple language, without getting technical, warrant officer.
Engicabanga ukuthi mina ngokwami ukwazi kusuke kusho ukuthi isithombe noma sideletiwe kodwa it's a print ukuthi sake saba khona lapha kule SD card.
And that will be that term, it escapes my mind, the recovered captured, something to that effect. Is that correct?
Yes, kunjalo.
That's correct, yes.
Now, in your experience, and you, like I said at the beginning, I'm cross-examining you for understanding, because a lot of these pictures were just presented here in court, thrown around, and then we were bamboozled. So I want your understanding here. How then do you determine the date and the time from any device, be it a cell phone itself, SD card, or SIM cards, when the photo was deleted? Can you determine then that using X-ray software?
Njengoba ngichazile njengoba sibona la awukhona ukubona nangabesidilite into eshiya ukuthi ikukhombisa ukuthi sake saba khona isithombe noma ingakuniki information eningi ngaleso sithombe leso.
Now, in simple terms, warrant officer, can you explain then that how you went about the process, that is, to recover the deleted photos that we've seen on this exhibit DD4 in brackets B? How did you go about it? Except to know that you used the physical extraction, but what does that entail?
Ngicabanga ukuthi lapho it's only the software esisebenzayo njengoba ngichaza ukuthi once wenza physical then you extract even izinto ezideleted. There's no way ongakwenza ngayo mina ngokwami phandle kwe software.
Okay. Okay. We've now touched on whether you can distinguish between the downloaded. In fact, let me put it this way. Using XRY software, can you, I think you've touched on it, but let me make sure. Can you distinguish between photos that are taken by a device and photos that are downloaded from the internet and other mechanisms?
Kunjalo uyakhona ukubona.
Share that with me again. I think it escapes my mind. Share that with me again.
Uma ngabe isithombe ukuthi sisesekhona ku SD card njengala, and then uma ngabe uvula ufile name, and then isithombe siyazichaza sona ngokwaso. Engicabanga ukuthi for i-court nawo wonke umuntu la akhona understand lento singanesashaya noma ngayisiphi isithombe.
Yes, I was going to tell you to go to an example of a photo like that, which has got all the data to show this is a photo captured by the phone itself, or this is a download from somewhere else. If you can refer, because you know this exhibit DD 4B better than me. Any photo that you can recall, then Advocate Sibanda will go to.
Okay, photo number 10.
No, let's use the ones that we've worked on. That's why, hence I said from exhibit DD 4B, because there are private photos here of people that are not supposed to be seen in this court. Hence I said specifically to the photo album that we've been working on, not random photos.
All right, I'll see you go photo number 2.
Photo number 2.
Let's go to this photo, warrant officer. Let's go to 2358, which is on page 2, because I don't want to see what I'm seeing now. Let's see if it's got the complete metadata in relation to the question that I asked, whether you can distinguish between a photo downloaded and a photo taken by the device itself.
Ayinayo ngoba ithi curve raw isafana nale ithombe ezini.
And just on that CAFTRO, warrant officer, is CAFTRO the equivalent to say this was a deleted photo and recovered?
Can you go up?
National Council shows it's deleted, yes.
So let's look at the one that was not deleted. That will show us that this was taken by, or here, does it show whether it was taken by the device itself or downloaded?
Njengoba ngichaza ukuthi njengoba siswa lesithombe into esiyikhombisayo ukuthi lesikhathi sireceive ile device the SD card sasikade singaphakathi kwana iPhone Samsung J5.
Let's go to another photo. I want this information clearly, warrant officer. Let's go to 2378, which I want a photo that was not deleted, that can show me exactly what I want. Let's go to 2378. Yeah, let's go to this one. Let's see the EXIF metadata of this one and comment if you see what I'm looking for. That also says CAFTRO, so we may eliminate that. Let's go to 2379. That one is CAFTRO as well.
What is the actual problem?
My lord, I want to see whether or not the software that they use, this X-ray, can distinguish between photos that are...
No, fine, I get that.
Yes.
But the point is, matter cannot be created. That's what the witness is saying.
He says?
Matter in the form of the photos,
Yes.
which they downloaded,
Yes.
they can't be created. They can be changed through the exigency of, for instance, the software or not. Just explain.
Yes, let
If
me
a photo is taken of me, as I am now, it can go through 120 devices. Can it change the image as you see it now?
Ngokwami kwazi isithombe angeke sichange.
That's the point.
Into engachange yingalesikhathi iaccesswa umunye nomunye nomunye kule device ayisebenzisayo angeke izikhathi zifane kodwa isithombe sobe sisodwa.
I was not referring to a subject matter. I'll be foolhardy to say that if you share a photo, Ramosepele will come and dance. That was not my question. My question pertains to, and I've said, the EXIF data. Whether EXIF data can show you this is a JPEG, it was taken by a J5 Samsung, or this was a photograph which was shared from WhatsApp, Facebook, and the like, that distinction.
Advocate, I remember I explained that sengikushilo ukuthi uma ngabe isithombe sisekhona efonini when you usibheka siyasho isithombe ukuthi lesi sibuya ku WhatsApp.
Yes.
And then uyakhona ukubona kule file name iyasho ukuthi shared.
Yes.
If isithombe it was shared. Okwesibili ngiphinde ngayichaza lento ukuthi isithombe siyasho uma ngabe sibuya ku Facebook ucheck file name uyaba khona lo Facebook ukuthi sibuya ku Facebook. And then uma ngabe isithombe sithethwe ngefone siyasho DCIM bese space ithi camera JPEG sikunike lezo zinamba.
Now, when I was putting my question, and I'm not going to belabor it with you, I was only looking for examples of those different types of whether this one is downloaded, whether this one was shot by the photograph from the actual EXIF metadata. But I understand that I'm not going to belabor that. Let's move on. Now, let's go to photo at page 2534, which is page 8 of Exhibit DB4 in brackets B. Now, the reason why I'm referring you to this one, and I want the state to assist you with that piece of transcript, extract from transcript. Yesterday, you were made to read something, whether it was Mohola or Zungu, referring to a gray hoodie. Remember that aspect of the evidence yesterday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I want you to be assisted with that because the comparison. Now, okay, read that first, then I'll want to refer you as well to Exhibit DD4 in brackets A.
Ifundeka kanje. Miss Mohola. Yes, my lord. There were a couple of hoodie jacket inside the ward. wardrobe. He also, my lord, requested to take one of the hoodies, my lord, which was grey in color, and my lord, if I am not mistaken, he was wearing a red hoodie jacket as well.
Now, I'll be fair, and with all due respect to Advocate Sibanda, and I don't fault you, you were made to read that on record without the context thereof being put to you, correct?
No, yes.
And I'm not going to give you the context. It's got nothing to do with your evidence, right? But importantly, from that extract that you've just read, it said whoever Mr. Ntanzi requested to take one of the hoodies with, because he was wearing a red, obviously, for whatever reasons Mohola says, he was going to change now into this gray hoodie. That's my understanding. Are we on the sort of same understanding, reading from that?
Yes.
I understand.
Now, yesterday you were requested, and correctly so, I think even by the court, to say, put what you observe on the picture, what is depicted on the picture, and you put everything. He's wearing a watch, a hoodie, a jacket, he's got a hoodie, he's wearing the hoodie on, and you describe the colors. I'm going to request you to do the same with this, because there's an important aspect that I want to pass by before I leave this aspect. Put the colors that are there.
All right. Kule sithombe ngibona umuntu ugqoke ijacket of tracksuit enesigqoko igrey ngaphezulu ngaphakathi imnyamanyana, and then phezulu emahlombe ukuya la esifubeni igrey inombala omnyama obhalwe ngomhlophe engakhona ukufunda ukuthi kubhala ukuthini, then inombala obomvu omhlophe, then omunye futhi omnyama, and then omunye omhlophe, then ibese iba mnyama la ngenzansi futhi ibhalwe imbhalo ngembhalo emhlophe engakhona ukuyifunda. Then uyakhona ukuyibona ijacket ukuthi imkhono emide, ugqoke iwashi yabonakala limnyama nokubomvu. Then kubonakala ngathi ungaphakathi endlini lo muntu, iloko engingakubona.
Thank you, Warrant Officer. Now, in that passage, the extract from the proceedings where Sergeant Mohola was testifying, does she describe that hoodie by describing further the colors, the lettering, and everything that you have just placed on record? You see, the reason I'm asking you this, and I'm not faulting you, is this: when context is not provided, the leader of that evidence wants the court to draw an inference by providing this photo to say, this is the hooded jacket that I'm referring to that Ntazi took and asked us to take, when that's not the case. And if I may respectfully ask the court, Mr. Ntazi, to rise up. He's here in court. If he can stand up. He's also wearing a grey hooded jacket today, in court today.
I agree.
Sit, Mr. Bongani, thank you. And it's got nothing to do with you. The context within which this photograph, you were meant to place the details thereof on record, should have been explained to you so that you know what you are talking about. But because it's not important to you, you are an analyst. I analyzed, I was given a phone, I download it, then I give the information back to the IO. The IO will use it for his investigation, because you are not privy to the investigation, correct?
Kunjalo, Advocate.
These are matters of arguments. You can argue the points, my lord. I'll make my submission, Mr. Ramosepele will make his submissions. Not for this witness to comment.
My lord, I don't want to ridicule my colleague. This objection is laughable. He's the one that introduced and invited comment on these photos. So this objection is laughable. I'm not even going to entertain it and give it glory with a response. So I'm done with this. I wanted to show you that a particular narrative wanted to be pushed. When we hit back now, he jumps up and down and say,
Which narrative is that?
the one that, my lord, the inference, I'm a lawyer, the inference that the real reason why this photo was introduced is to align with the fact that Mukula says Mr. Antanzi asked to take a grey sweater, and they put this as the grey sweater, my lord. I'm a lawyer. That's an inference that they need this court to do.
ukuthi lana uma bekufundwa lokhu ke befuna ke ukuthi lokho bhalwe noma kushiwo umkhulu lana ke kuhlanganiswe ke naso lesi sithombe ukuthi ke yona ke le hoodie egrey athi ke umkhulu umntanzi wayithatha.
Is that what you're trying to show, sir? Doctor?
No, my lord, that is not the only inference.
Okay.
Yes.
It's fine, my lord. Now it's an issue for argument. We'll both argue it. But he mustn't, when he's introduced something, when the shoe pitches, he stands up and cries. My lord, I'm going to ask, it's 25 past, may we resume tomorrow?
Okay, let's adjourn until tomorrow.